The Bradley Center in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. College basketball continues on CBS. We've got a battle between two top 25 teams, Georgetown and Marquette, out of the Big East Conference. And so far, Clark, a great start to this game.
Terrific energy from Marquette. The Golden Eagles want to play a fast-paced game, and so far they've been able to do that. All 12 points in the paint, winning the fast break-point battle and points off turnovers as well. Georgetown, on the other hand, 5 turnovers, fueling some of those early scoring opportunities for Marquette.
Marquette 6 of 10 from the field. Georgetown 4 of 11. Now Matthews, who's been excellent, driving to the basket, and that one knocked out of his hands and out of bounds, and will stay right here. Let's take a look at who's on the floor. For the Hoyas on the left, Wallace, Jeremiah Rivers, Freeman, Crawford, and Hibbert, their talented center. Kubion, McNeil, Matthews, Fitzgerald, and Mbakwe for the Golden Eagles from Marquette. Here's Fitzgerald, very nice shooter. Kubion fires as the shot clock expires, no, and that is a shot clock violation. But let's take a look at Wesley Matthews Jr. and what he's done so far.
A very quick start for him. He's made 3 of his 4 shots getting to the rim. That was the first bucket for Marquette. Then on a called play, the alley-oop gets behind the defense there, and again, all 12 points for Marquette so far in the paint area.
So here come the Hoyas. They've won 10 of their last 12, coming off a 64-52 home win against St. John's on Wednesday. Backdoor, nicely done, off the mark. Hibbert's a terrific passer.
He really is, and a nice job by Austin Freeman, who
McNeil
playing with, sorry, Gus, playing with a slightly sprained ankle, unable to finish that layup attempt.
Today's game is being brought to you in HDTV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. So Marquette, winners of 5 in a row, 8 of their last 10. They started the year 11-1. Their only loss coming to Duke, 77-73, and the Golden Eagles defeated Villanova 85-75 this week. They were down, Clark, by 10 in the first half, by 7 at the break, and wow, did they manage to come back.
Did a nice job in that second half. The defense really picked up for Marquette in that win on the road against Villanova. Turned the Wildcats over 23 times, converted a number of those turnovers into big points, and got a tremendous game from Dominique James. 25 points, 6 steals for the junior guard.
James on the floor now, playing with the tender wrist and a tender ankle. Here comes Jeremiah Rivers. He is the son of Boston Celtics head coach Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers was also one of the greatest players in the history of this Marquette program, and Georgetown throws it away again. Kubion in transition. Fitzgerald, he'll let it fly. Hoyas the other way. Summers, he's been great. 21 against St. John's the other night. And he averages close to 12 a game on the season. Now Hibbert posting. Rolling, and he's called for traveling. Let's take a look at the Big East standings.
Well, you take a look at the numbers there. Cincinnati has been a surprise at 8-7 in the league, but at the top you see Georgetown, Louisville, Connecticut. Those 2 teams probably playing the best basketball of anybody in the league right now, and Notre Dame has been rather hot of late as well. Tough league, top to bottom. Talking to Tom Green this morning, he feels like it's the toughest the league has been since Marquette has been part of the league the last 4 seasons, or the last 3 seasons, I should say, because of the strength in the middle and in the bottom. The top is always pretty good in this league.
Dominique James knocking down a nice jump shot, and all of a sudden Marquette has its largest lead of the game. Georgetown just throwing the ball all over the gym. 7 turnovers already. Marquette has turned it over 3 times.
That's been one of the problems for Georgetown when they have struggled. And they've lost 4 games, and in 3 of them you could highlight the turnover differential.
Hoyas averaged 13 turnovers a game as a team as Hibbert knocked that jump hook down. Mbakwe can't get it to fall. Here comes Sapp from Harlem, New York. Freeman, rise and fire. Loose ball, batted around. Now Kubion, the Venezuelan, the kick. McNeil to the cup. Count it.
The Golden Eagles doing a terrific job attacking the paint, Gus. When they can get that ball in open space in transition, team speed really is to their advantage.
Tell you what, Clark, Marquette came into this game ready to take on Georgetown. They smell blood in the water. Freeman playing with the bad ankle. He's stripped out of bounds. Just stay right here. 10:39 to play. First half. Marquette on top of the Hoyas. 17-12. CBS Sports College basketball coverage is sponsored by Lowe's. For all of your home improvement needs, Lowe's. Let's build something together. Hummer, like nothing else. And by the new AT&T, your world delivered.
Some bullet points from the last 24 hours. Actually, you just saw within the last 10 minutes, if you were watching, Duke's coach Mike Krzyzewski get win number 800 in a comeback fashion. Then would like to wish Coach John Wooden well, the legendary coach, former coach at UCLA, took a fall yesterday, but is recovering, and we'd like to extend our well wishes for a speedy recovery. And then Patrick Patterson. This is difficult, terrible news for the Kentucky Wildcats. That's one of the premier freshmen in all of college basketball, is that young man, and he is lost for the season with a stress fracture. And they will face Tennessee tomorrow here on CBS. And they'll have to do so without the player that's been their most consistent and best player, I think, all season long.
Hibbert. Georgetown has turned it over 7 times. Sapp looking for Hibbert inside. 1 to shoot, and that's the 8th turnover.
Well, no surprise there. Marquette forces 4 more turnovers per game in conference play than they commit. They're number 1 in the league in turnover margin, and they do it with pressure, with speed, with an attention to detail and what they're trying to take away from their opponents. And that was one of the concerns for Georgetown, as the Hoyas now show a zone defense here.
That ball kicked.
The Hoyas having a tough time squeezing the orange. Just an errant pass there. And this is just a scrum for a loose ball that ends up in the Golden Eagles' hands.
Here's Hayward flashing to the basket, had to change his shot in midair, and Summers drags it down. So Rivers, Summers, Wallace, Hibbert, as well as Pat Ewing Jr. on the floor for the Hoyas, and that'll be a foul coming up against Marquette. Mbakwe. Here's a young man that early on during the season injured his knee. He's only played in 4 games. He could have redshirted, Clark, but he wanted to be a part of what they're doing here at Marquette.
That speaks volumes of this young man. Did not want to coast to the finish line during his freshman season, even if it meant that he wouldn't play the bulk of the games, but he felt like he wanted to be part of a special group.
And they need him. Hayward, who's really improved this season. And from Buffalo, New York, Pat Ewing Jr. getting on the floor, diving, calls a timeout. Great hustle by the Hoyas. 9:34 to play first half. Back to Milwaukee after this.
No question about this tournament resume. When you look at the Marquette Golden Eagles, you look at the record, conference record, RPI strength. I mean, that jumps right out at you. All it says is tournament team.
Yep.
I'm not going to get into where the Eagles would fall on the seed line, but that's yet to be determined. But
how about this man, Tom Crean? What a great job he's done in his 9 seasons.
Terrific. Absolutely
at Marquette.
Terrific. Outstanding. Talked to him this morning during the shoot-around, and he indicated how the last couple of years he's been intentional about reducing practice time because his players are a pretty experienced group. As long as they handle what he's throwing at them, they don't have to be on the floor as long as in past years. So I'm sure the players appreciate that. Less is more sometimes.
Summers on the baseline, posting, had it knocked away. He'll pick it back up, and it's a turnover. Acker. Mo Acker. Baseline. Mbakwe. And the rebound goes to Hibbert. Now Summers. And that's that's what the Hoyas have to do. Hibbert, great rebound, and he's fouled. Hoyas got to hit perimeter shots.
And they've got to take care of the ball. The Hoyas are playing a little faster than they want to, and you have to credit Marquette for that. This is about microwave or crock pot. The microwave is heating it up fast. That crock pot is slow cooking. Georgetown wants to slow cook you. Marquette wants to microwave. So It's going to be a battle between those two cooking styles.
I love it when you do those things. That's the best. As Hibbert hits the first. CBS Sports and Facebook are bringing you the largest bracket competition on the web. Prove you're an expert and get started now at facebook.com/brackets or cbssports.com/brackets. Roy Hibbert now with 7 points as he hits that first free throw. Averages 13 a game, 6 rebounds. Great looking stroke on his release.
He sure does have a nice stroke. Textbook looking stroke.
Hibbert checks out of the game, and he's replaced by Vernon Macklin, a sophomore from Portsmouth, Virginia. Hoyas get back into that 1-2-2 zone. Rivers is the point man. Acker turns the corner. They reverse it down. James rises. And the rebound to Summers.
Well, that's nice execution, Gus, against that zone to make that extra pass and get that ball reversed. That's a good shot for Marquette from James there.
Matt Ewing Jr. off the dribble now. 13 to shoot. Hoyas patient on this trip. Rivers, 20-footer pure. 17-16 now. And Georgetown back into the zone. Acker stepped off the bench against Villanova this week. Had a huge game, 12 points. Hit 2 threes, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. And he really gave them a burst of energy when they needed it. Off the bounce. Matthews has it knocked away. Acker. And a steal. Hoyas everywhere. Barrel picks up the loose chain.
Unfortunate bounce that time for Georgetown as Jeremiah Rivers did a terrific job staying active on the perimeter with his hands and feet. And the Eagles got a lucky bounce that time.
Here's Rivers to the basket, and he will go to the line. 7:14 to play. First half. Marquette up by 3. Georgetown heading to the free throw line. And welcome back to Milwaukee. Let's take a look at the game summary.
Well, neither team really lightening up shooting the ball. Georgetown only 6 of 17. You see the 9 turnovers, but perfect from the line, winning the rebounding battle thus far. And good action here, Gus, for the first 12-plus minutes.
I really like the pace. These guys are going at it.
Getting after it.
And it's very interesting to watch this conference, the Big East Conference. So many competitive teams in the Big East this year, from top to bottom.
Yeah, I agree, Gus. I mean, you look at the quality of the teams at the top. Teams that have a chance to make a deep run in the tournament. Then you look at the middle with teams that are going to be dangerous come tournament time. And then even at the bottom third of the league, you've got teams that have been able to beat some of the teams above them in the conference standings. So very, very high quality throughout this conference.
I had a chance to talk to Jeremiah Rivers, who's at the free throw line. And this is the first time he's had an opportunity to play in the house that his dad helped to build. The great Doc Rivers, whose name and number hangs from the rafters here in Milwaukee. And he said, you know, my mom, my dad, my mom, and rather her whole family are here. I've been in this building 1,000 times, and it's really a neat thing to be able to play here today.
I think that's exactly right, Gus. Kind of a unique deal, but a special deal for that young man.
And he said he talked to his dad before the game, and his father had one serious thing to say. He said, make sure you beat him.
When it comes to the family blood versus alma mater,
that's right.
The blood rules.
So going to the free throw line for Tom Crean, And this Marquette squad, 21-6, 11-5 in conference play. McNeil, who's also a terrific scorer at 13 a game. Balanced scoring, especially in the backcourt for this Marquette squad, as he can't get the first one to go. Tomorrow on 60 Minutes, a new weapon straight out of Buck Rogers, and perfect for crowd control. See how it works tomorrow on 60 Minutes.
Golden Eagles having trouble from the stripe on the season. 73% in conference play, Gus, as a team. I think they've missed them all here.
0 for 5. No, excuse me, make that 1 for 7 from the free throw line for this Marquette squad. As John Thompson, the third coach of the year by the NABC last year, led his team to the Final Four. 6:50 to play. 19-17, Marquette. James had that 25-point game, 6 steals against Villanova this week. Pick and roll. Baseline, Matthews, and he knocks it down for 3. Wesley Matthews Jr. averages 11 points per game. He has 9. And Marquette takes a 22-17 lead. You played against his dad.
Sure did, back in 1980 when I was a freshman at Ohio State. Actually, that team beat us twice that year, and we ended up losing the Big Ten championship on the last day of the season at Indiana. Dad was a terrific player in college and then went on to play a number of years in the NBA.
9 to shoot for Hibbert in no man's land. Picks up his dribble. Hibbert looking, 5 to shoot. Rivers fires and hits. So Jeremiah Rivers cuts the Marquette lead to 2.
Well, he is really good defensively. He moves his feet and keeps his hands active right around that ball. He does a terrific job of getting deflections that ultimately lead to steals. And you take a look at All in the Family. How about this, Gus? There's Wes Matthews. You see what he did when he was here at Wisconsin. Doc Rivers and Patrick Ewing. Named recently the greatest player in the 100-year history of Hoya basketball.
I would agree.
There's no argument here, Chief.
The beast.
Matter of fact, I think last year when these teams played in Washington, they were honoring the All-Century team and prevailed with a 23-6 run to end that game and win by 18.
76-58 to score. Loose ball. And this is the 6th meeting between these two squads. Georgetown leads the series 3-2, winning 2 in a row. Kubian checks back in. James heads to the bench. Wallace and Rivers will walk it up the floor. Summers, Hibbert, and Freeman. Remember, Freeman, very impressive ball player, but he's playing with a tender ankle, fighting through it. To shoot. Rivers again. And Kubian tracks down the rebound. Nahar pushing to the front court. 2-point lead for Marquette. Matthews again. Uh-oh. Wesley Matthews Jr. is feeling it. 12 points. He averages 11. And Marquette takes a 5-point lead. Hibbert ready to go to work. Jump hook. Snatched down. Matthews. He'll rake it. Take it to the bucket. And a foul. Reaching from behind. Coming up against the Hoyas.
Georgetown in the zone. Just kind of a pseudo transition opportunity here. More early offense. And Matthews unchallenged on that 3-point look. And splashes it home.
Rivers picks up his second foul. 4:20 to play. First half, Marquette up by 5. So Kubian inbounds on the baseline. He's got Matthews with him. Barrow, Fitzgerald. Along with McNeil. right side. Matthews, the kick to Fitzgerald. Count it. They call him left corner Dan because that's where he's successful most of the time. He moved over Parker. 8-point lead. Marquette, largest of the game.
Left corner Dan.
Wallace. And he answers.
Put the mute button on him.
Yes. Big East basketball, folks. 28-23. Under 4 to go. Kubian off the dribble. Peels it out. Lets it fly. 7 rebounds now for Summers. With the left hand high and in. Beautifully done by the sophomore for Portsmouth. He has 4.
Georgetown getting solid contributions from the bench, Gus. They've slowed it down a little bit. They've got that crock pot on simmer. Taking better care of the ball and getting good looks offensively.
Baseline, McNeil, short, knocked out of bounds, and will stay right here. 2:26 to play, first half. Marquette on top of Georgetown, 28-25. Access CV on your wireless AT&T phone to watch the complete Coach's Corner video and exclusive NCAA March Madness highlights.
Speaking of Coach's Corner, how about some of these coaches cornering up jobs well done? Dino Gaudio at Wake, and then Doc Sadler in Nebraska, coming off a nice win, couple of nice wins recently. Anthony Grant, Painter, that Purdue club right in the thick of things at the top of the Big Ten. So 4 guys that deserve a little credit for the work they've done. All coaches do, but obviously those guys doing exceptional jobs in their particular situation.
And Marquette with the basketball, 12 of 26 from the field, 46%, 3 of 8 from the three-point line. James rolls down the lane and will go to the line. Coming up on AT&T at the half, join Greg Gumbel and Seth Davis for all of the scores and highlights, plus an AT&T Naismith Watch update and a talk with Coach K about his 800th win. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half.
That is exclusive company when you get to that 800 number. Congratulations to Coach K. And just watching the tail end of that game, the Blue Devils had to come from behind late. Just kept chipping away.
James off the mark and free throw shooting really turning out to be a problem for the Golden Eagles. They're 1 of 8 from the free throw line. Surprisingly
a problem here in this first half. Again, I mentioned just a moment ago on the season, in conference play, the Golden Eagles are 73% as a team from the line. So uncharacteristically poor free throw shooting thus far, but still with a 4-point cushion. Summers along with Wallace. Here's Freeman, a 20-footer, and knocks it down. Boy, good look, good execution there with the little screen right at the top of the three-point line. Austin Freeman, a freshman from DeMatha High School, legendary DeMatha High School. Same high school as our James Brown, who back then was called Jumpin' James Brown. 29-28 Marquette. We're full of the nicknames today. Left corner Dan. Well, you know what? His coach told me that. Oh, okay. That's what Tommy Green told me, that his nickname was Left Corner Dan because he never misses a jump shot when he's in that left corner. Now James, been terrific this season, fires, and a moving screen called against the Golden Eagles. That foul called on Barrow, and it's his second. Mbakwe checks back in. And number 32, Zar Hayward, replacing Fitzgerald. 29-28 Marquette, 1:28 to go in the first half. Georgetown has put a freeze on the turnovers here since about the 7-minute mark or so. Been parked on 10 for a bit. That's part of why the game is only a 1-point deficit right now. Oops.
Ewing strip. Hayward in the front court. Can't get it to stay down. The tip though by Matthews and the foul. Wesley Matthews Jr. has been sensational in the first half. 14 points.
An example of why you don't give up on the play when your teammate has what appears to be an open layup. Good hustle. I think that was, couldn't tell who that was from Georgetown that ran under Lazar Hayward, but it distracted him just enough to miss that layup attempt. But Wesley Matthews, pursuing the ball, anticipating or expecting a miss, was in good position to get that hoop down.
And he adds the free throw. Marquette on top, 32-28. The Golden Eagles have won 5 in a row, as we mentioned, 8 of their last 10 as they rise to their feet here at the Bradley Center. Under a minute to play and a foul coming up. And that will be against Mbakwe.
That's another reason why you try to get Roy Hibbert touches. He's an excellent passer. He can score effectively there, but it also puts pressure on the defenders, and you can ultimately draw fouls. That's only the 16th foul on Marquette.
Mbakwe picks up his second. Now Pat Ewing Jr. off the bounce, hangs in the air, can't bank it in. Freeman with the rebound, knocked away and stolen. McNeil, Marquette in transition. McNeil rolling. Hayward a 15-footer. Loose ball rebounded by Georgetown. Shot clock turned off. Game clock at 30. Hoyas down 32-28. They've turned it over 12 times in the first half, but they may be able to get out of this in decent shape. Here's Sapp, the New York City kid. Pick and roll with Hibbert. Summers a three. Picked up on the baseline. Ewing. And that'll do it. That's the end of the first half with the score. Marquette 32, Georgetown 28. We'll send you to Greg Gumbel in New York with AT&T at the half after these messages. You're watching CBS Sports, home of the men's NCAA basketball championship. CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. Sonic, it's not just good, it's Sonic good. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? Welcome back. Our score 32-28. Marquette with the lead over the Hoyas at halftime. Gus Johnson along with Clark Kellogg. Wes Matthews, huge first half for this Marquette squad. How
about 15 points in 17 minutes? Almost a point per minute for Wesley Matthews. He made 6 of 8 shots, and he got it done at the rim. In transition, following up a missed shot, and he also stepped out and also had 2 assists.
All right, let's take a look at the T. Rowe Price first half statistics.
Well, there you see the free throw shooting from Marquette. Again, I highlighted this in the first half. Uncharacteristically poor. The lead could be more had they made the normal free throw percentage. And bench points a nice lift for Georgetown.
So we start the second half. Marquette with the basketball. And a 4-point lead. Here's James. Driving to the basket, double clutch, then banked it home. Beautifully done by Dominique James.
That makes it now 20-8 points in the paint advantage for Marquette. I thought the zone defense Georgetown played the latter part of the first half kept the Golden Eagles out of the lane a little more. Right away, they attacked the rim with Georgetown in the man-to-man on the first possession.
Hibbert, nice catch on the baseline, across the lane, got it up, can't get it to fall. Here comes Marquette. McNeil, the kick in the corner. Matthews. And Summers with the rebound. He's fouled. Barrow will pick up the foul for Marquette. And that's his third.
That means Barrow will have to sit down with that third personal foul, Gus. Mbakwe returns. He has 2 fouls. I would expect Georgetown to really be intentional about trying to get the ball inside to Roy Hibbert now. Mbakwe giving up an awful lot of size to Hibbert.
Boys turn it over again. This time it's McNeil.
What a play by Summers.
Mbakwe hustling. No call. Out of bounds. Tom Green can't believe it. This one's starting to get a little physical.
Watch this play by Summers. Made a nice play to deny McNeil. And boy, Hibbert lucky he was not called for a foul. He got the ball up top, it appears.
Actually, he was called
yes,
for a foul.
I was just going to say that.
Yes, he was. So Mbakwe goes to the line. A freshman from St. Paul, Minnesota. And they told me yesterday when we were at practice that Marquette scrimmaged Kansas State, and Mbakwe had a chance to go up against Michael Beasley. And although Beasley in that scrimmage had 40, he really defended him well. I said, Coach, I don't know what that means, but I understand what you're trying to say. He made him work for his points. Near the end of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. To honor their determination and outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund, Chevy, and American Revolution. But I guess you want to make great players work for their points.
That's right. Well, Beasley's hanging big numbers on just about anybody and everybody, scrimmage or not. He's a talented young fella.
Yes, he is. Now Sapp. Wallace, quick release. Summers with it on the baseline. Georgetown, a new shot clock. Hibbert posting up. He wants it again. Mbakwe on his back. Backdoor cut. Summers. And a whistle and foul.
This is a nice job here by Summers to continue to run towards the pass and force that foul. And he kind of conceded and given up to McNeil. That might have been a steal, but he ran through the defender and the ball and forced the foul there.
McNeil picked up his first foul. 35-28 Marquette. Hibbert backdoor. Wallace with the catch and a steal. Nicely done. Great rotation by the Golden Eagles. Hayward, and that will not count. Offensive foul called on Hayward.
Was that Jeremiah Rivers who got there in time? Let's see.
Yes,
sure
it
was.
is.
Sure was. Nicely done. Good push ahead here by McNeil. And although Jeremiah Rivers turned his shoulder a bit, he was solidly in good position there to draw the charge.
Now Freeman with Wallace, Summers, Hibbert, and Rivers.
Summers has been very quiet offensively here so far today.
Hibbert, the beautiful finger roll.
Now, how many times are you going to see a footer do that? Wow. Wow, beautifully done. You're right.
Hibbert with 10 points and a whistle.
Big fella! Trick him up a little bit. Now, how many 7-footers do you see do that, Gus? Off the dribble, one bounce, then the fake pass in rhythm and right to the rim. Oh, I like that one, Roy.
Now James, the inbounder, and he finds Hayward. Hayward quiet offensively today. No points. He averages 13 on the season. Pick and roll. Kubian keeps it alive. Now Dominique James to the basket. Reverse layup, no. Summers pulls it down. His 10th rebound. Georgetown looking for some rhythm now. Hibbert can't make the catch. Not a good entry pass. Hayward in transition. He turns it over. Freeman, Wallace, Freeman. Finger roll. And we have a three-point game. Freeman with 5 points off the bench. He didn't start today because of the ankle injury. Patrick Ewing Jr. with his second start this season in conference play. Off the mark for McNeil. Rivers with another rebound. He'll push it. Head up like his dad. Inside Hibbert. Great position. And one. Wow. The pot roast is cooking.
And that's a 7-foot pot roast here. Roy Hibbert, deep post position, and Mbakwe has no chance. Well done by Georgetown. Space the floor, reverse the ball, be intentional about throwing it into the big guy, and he'll produce some fruit for you.
So my partner compared this game at the beginning, a microwave versus a crock pot.
That's right.
Georgetown, the crock pot. Marquette, the microwave, and now Hibbert at the line. Hoyas have been slow cooking, and he's trying to tie it up at 35. And he does.
Nothing but rope. Boy, he's got a beautiful stroke.
7-0 run for the Hoyas. Game tied at 35. Here comes James, McNeil, Fitzgerald. Burke has just checked in. And a whistle away from the ball, and it will go against the Hoyas. Freeman. 15:57 to play, second half. We're tied at 35. Don't forget, tomorrow on CBS, it all starts with an all-new 60 Minutes, followed by Big Brother, Cold Case, and a new episode of Dexter.
Without any real heavy scrutiny, I would think you could draw a line right here and say those teams look like really solid tournament teams. And then West Virginia, Villanova, Syracuse still with a bit of work to do, although West Virginia, I think, in pretty good shape. Syracuse, a tough loss at home today against Pittsburgh. So the Big East will again be well represented come Selection Sunday.
And the top 4 teams receive an automatic bye in the first round of the Big East tournament. Right now, Marquette on the outside looking in, but McNeil knocks down a jump shot.
Boy, that was a very easy scoring opportunity on the baseline out of bounds. Seemed like a defensive breakdown there by Georgetown.
Another turnover, McNeil, and one. Oh!
Wow, what a turn of events out of the timeout. Careless pass by Rivers. McNeil jumping the lane and then finishing strong. Boy, just like that, Georgetown had a 7-0 run, plenty of momentum, come back from the timeout, and could be down 5 in the matter of a shot clock.
Ewing picks up his second foul. McNeil coming off a 14-point game against Nova on 5 of 14 shooting. He now has 9, and Marquette goes up by 5. Hoyas really sloppy with the basketball. They've turned it over 16 times and given up 14 points off those 16 turnovers. 5-point lead for the Golden Eagles. Wallace. And a reach-in foul. And in practice yesterday, Tom Crean's team, very impressive, especially when he had his guys defending with 4 instead of 5.
Well, looking to try to take away the backdoor cuts. Typically in this offense, when a player with the ball in the middle of the floor dribbles at you or on the wing dribbles at you, his teammate is going to back cut. The Marquette Golden Eagles have been very well prepared for taking that away. But it's created an opportunity on a couple of occasions for Roy Hibbert to show you his skill level by getting to the rim from the foul line area.
Remember, there are some Princeton offensive principles in this Georgetown system as Hibbert knocks down another jump shot inside. McNeil rejected by Hibbert.
What a nice job.
And out of bounds. And we'll stay here. NCAA March Madness On Demand is back. This year you can watch every game from the NCAA Championship live online for free. Avoid the lines on game day by signing up for your free VIP pass now at ncaa.com. McNeil loses an edge, holds on to the ball, finds Fitzgerald, and a timeout call by Tom Crean. And the Marquette Golden Eagles 40-37. Marquette on top of Georgetown here in the second half. And welcome back. Don't forget this week on The Late Show, Dave's got Tom Hanks, Howard Stern, and Denzel Washington. Plus, Monday, catch Kate Hudson and Jack Hanna's Animals, only on CBS.
Let's take a look at a few teams that are under the radar, if you will. Kent State had a terrific win at St. Mary's last weekend. That team looks very much like a tournament team. How about South Alabama? But Kent State just informed the Golden Flashes went down to Bowling Green today, but nonetheless still an outstanding season and a chance to still be part of the NCAA tournament. VCU under Anthony Grant, who we showed you earlier, having a strong year as well. Western Michigan out of the underrated Mid-American Conference, having a good season as well.
15:03 to play, second half. Marquette with a 40-37 lead. Marquette is led by as many as 8, Georgetown by as many as 4. Dominique James, the inbounder, with McNeil, Fitzgerald, Kubian, and Burke. Golden Eagles going small. To shoot. James with the step on the and a foul.
Well, it appears that every time Georgetown, at least most of the time Georgetown has gone man, Marquette has been able to find a way to the rim off the dribble.
So the foul called on Macklin. That's his first. Inside, McNeil can't get it to stay down, loose. McNeil somehow, one of the smallest guys under the basket, comes up with the rebound.
That's just want to. That's positioning well, pursuing the ball in anticipation, but he just goes up and then he just kind of rakes it out of there once he got back to the ground. That's desire and determination on display there, Gus.
So he's at the line, and Coach Crean talked about how he had some opportunity to talk to the great Larry Brown, one of the great coaches in the history of basketball, about how to build a college team. And Coach Brown told him, go get yourself 3 versatile guards. Doesn't matter if they play traditional positions, 3 versatile guards, and that will really help you down the road.
Without question, when you get 3 guys that are versatile, that embrace defense, that want to share the ball and lead their teammates, that's a nice package to have. And clearly that's what Tom Crean has done with the trio of James, Matthews, and McNeil.
However, Marquette still struggling from the free throw line. 41-37. Sapp is checked back in, along with Summers, who takes a 3. Off the mark, loose. James with the rebound. Here come the Golden Eagles.
Summers has done a solid job on the boards. At last count, he had 10 rebounds. But I think the Hoyas, to be the best they can be, need his point production.
James, 15-footer, knocks it down in motion. He now has gone. Marquette takes a 43-37 lead. Ewing Jr. is checked in. Summers now posting. Ten to shoot. Hibbert in the high post. 7 to shoot. Sapp, 4 to shoot. Pushes off. Offensive. What a defensive trick for Marquette. Almost as if they had 10 players on the floor.
Executing the game plan defensively perfectly here. And there you see the clear offensive foul as Jesse Sapp was fighting the shot clock under much duress.
So here's the team, the Georgetown Hoyas, ranked 10th in the nation. They average 12.8 turnovers per game. They have 17 right now with over 13 minutes to play in this game.
I recall the game at Syracuse. The Hoyas had trouble with the turnovers. The game at Memphis, the Hoyas also had trouble with turnovers.
James straight away. Count it. Neat. 46-37. Marquette. And now the Golden Eagles are feeling it. Georgetown, they need to talk things over. 12:51 to play. Second half, Marquette with its largest lead of the game.
These dogs use their noses to find things that are hidden. I'm also trained to find things that hide, like the internet, using the AT&T Laptop Connect card. Boom, internet found, hiding like a tiny criminal. Customer needs a widget, access inventory at mobile broadband speed, widget ordered, widget delivered, customer happy. Hurrah!
The internet can't hide anymore. Get the AT&T Laptop Connect card for free and work in more places worldwide than anyone else. AT&T, your world delivered.
Thursday on Survivor, a challenge so dangerous the medics are called in. Don't miss an all-new Survivor Thursday at 8/7 Central on CBS. John Thompson III trying to coach his kids, and they're trying to figure out a way to stop these two.
Look at the shooting percentage, 11 for 17, 27 points. James has just scored 5 of the last 6. Matthews had all 15 of his in the first half.
So here comes Sapp along with Rivers in the backcourt. Ewing, Hibbert, and Summers. Summers has to hit some shots. He's a big offensive key for this Georgetown squad. And Sapp can't hold on. The Hoyas turn it over again. 18 turnovers for Georgetown. And they've given up 14 points off those 18 turnovers as Freeman checks back in.
The turnovers are a two-sided curse. The points that come off of them and the chances you don't get to shoot the basketball. And when you're a pretty good shooting team, like Georgetown is, you're really sabotaging your chances. But this team has been in close games. They've come from behind in a number of games this year. They won't panic, but they better rebound if they want to try to get back into it here.
And Tom Green talked about that yesterday in practice as well. He said, we've got to come up with some offensive rebounds and get some easy baskets.
Well, when you can break down the defense with dribble penetration, Gus, it scrambles up the defense and it gives you chances, even if you aren't that big, to get to the offensive glass. I mean, when defenders have to scramble and rotate and help, that ball is up there on the rim on missed shots. Anybody can chase it down.
So Burke at the line makes the first, and Tom Green knows that this young man, Dwight Burke, is upset. His playing time has been cut, but instead of complaining to the coach, he's gotten very quiet and very focused, and Tom Green really appreciates the way he's been working and his attitude. 48-37 Marquette. Marquette on a 13-2 run. Largest lead of the game. Sapp. Guarded by Kubian. Sliding. Here's Freeman. Back door. Summers jams it down.
How about Hibbert? See the fake and then the pass? Oh, it's something nice to watch when a big fella can pass it like that.
11:41 to play. Second half, 48-39. Coach Green getting his guys into it. Marquette looking good so far. CBS Sports College basketball coverage is sponsored by Chevy and American Revolution. Coke Zero. Coke Zero reminds you to never back down. Demand real cola taste and 0 calories. And by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some remaining schedules in the Big East Conference.
Well, you take a look. Georgetown, Louisville on CBS next weekend. Louisville gets Villanova before that. UConn continuing to play outstanding basketball. And then you see Notre Dame. Those are your top 4 teams in the league. How they finish.
How about Connecticut? How did they get so good so quickly? They were young last year, and all of a sudden this year, Coach Calhoun just got those guys playing some great basketball.
Well, I think a couple of things. One, the younger players got older, a little more mature, a little more focused. Then they had some adversity. When a couple of players were suspended, Jerome Dyson, Wiggins, suspended, they go on the road, shorthanded, and beat Indiana. That's a galvanizing force for a team that has some talent and ability. The improvement of the beat as a shot blocking and rebounding presence. Adrian has been solid. Then I think the play of A.J. Price, their point guard, has been excellent. He's played at an all-league level after struggling a bit last year. So they've got size, depth, good backcourt play, perimeter shooting. Now they've got Jerome Dyson coming back into the fold.
Really tough ball club.
Yep.
50-39, Marquette playing tough basketball today against the 10th-ranked Hoyas from Georgetown. Wallace, 15-footer, and knocks it down. Jonathan Wallace cuts the Marquette lead to 9. But you know Georgetown can score points in bunches, and they'll use their defense to get it going. Number 1 in the country in field goal percentage defense, 4th in scoring defense, 17 in field goal percentage. Here's James. First power dribble. Hayward, a 3. Rebounded by Sapp.
That was an excellent offensive possession that time by Marquette. Got it inside, made the extra pass, and got a good look at the three-point shot for the team's best three-point shooter percentage-wise. .15 to shoot. Here's Wallace again. Dribbles it off of his foot, tracks it down with 10 to shoot. Sapp to Hibbert. He's got it in his power zone. Jump hook, Forget about it. That is a sweet shot. Well, he's showing us just about everything in his book bag today.
Yep. 17 points for Hibbert. 50-43. Approaching the 10-minute mark of the second half. Acker. James. Now James to the basket. Off balance, no. Hibbert rips it down. Georgetown trying to get back in this one. Here's Sapp. Wallace. And they turn it over again. John Thompson the third, 1 and a 5. 19 turnovers. Matthews back in. Now Acker. Matthews again. Burke with the offensive rebound. He's tied up. And the possession arrow favors Marquette. Now this week, there's a whole new reason to watch Big Brother. Big changes are coming tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday on CBS. .27 to play second half. Marquette on top of Georgetown, 50-43. Gus Johnson along with Clark Kellogg, Dominique James has headed to the bench for the Golden Eagles. So it's Barrow, Kubion, McNeil, along with Matthews and Hayward. Here's Matthews, the pivot, picked it up. Hayward inside, short, loose. Here comes Ewing Jr. Leaves it for Wallace. Back to Pat Ewing Jr. Dumps it down, and the bucket for Crawford is good. The Marquette lead cut to 5, and an offensive foul. That's a terrific play. Offensive foul called against Marquette. Ewing Jr. with the presence of mind to bait Barrow into a bad foul.
Terrific job by Ewing Jr. He gets the assist on the transition opportunity and then hustles back and gets in position to draw the 4th foul on Barrow.
And a timeout on the floor called by the Golden Eagles. 8:55 to play. Second half, we've got a 5-point game.
It's a 5-point lead for Marquette, and there you see Patrick Ewing Jr. 2 solid plays to get Georgetown back to within contact. And Gus, you've had a chance to cover this guy's dad for a number of years in your broadcasting duties with the Knicks.
That's right. I remember early on when I used to be taller than him. It was that long ago. I used to be taller than him, and his father, the great Patrick Ewing, I remember asking him one time, so how's your son's game? This is when he was in grammar school, and he says, I don't care anything about his game. All I care about is that he gets his grades together, and that has happened. Pat Ewing Jr. with a 3.0 grade point average this past semester in English, and he also wants to say hello to his mother, Sharon Campbell, who's been so supportive, both of his parents. Wallace. And the rebound goes to Marquette.
We had a chance to visit with Patrick Ewing prior to the game, and Hayward just having a tough shooting day. Delightful young man.
Yes.
Very comfortable with who he is and his role on this team. And when teams have success, Gus, a lot of times you have to look at the upperclassmen, the seniors. Are they embracing their role? Are they doing what they can to produce and to lead for their younger teammates? And you look at guys like Patrick Ewing Jr. I mean, he started at the start of the season, was very comfortable coming off the bench. As a matter of fact, prefers it over starting because it gives him a chance to see what's going on and make an impact in a number of the intangible areas within a particular ball game. A guy like Tyler Crawford, he doesn't play an awful lot. Called on a little more today because of the injury to Austin Freeman, but is a leader for this team.
It was very interesting talking to him today, and the first thing he said was, I got to get my teammates to understand that this game is not about just scoring.
Right.
Very impressive young man. So Wallace at the line. And he gets the first one to go. Tomorrow on CBS, he gets the killers the cops can't catch. Catch a new Dexter tomorrow at 10/9 Central on CBS. Wallace, another impressive kid. As we mentioned in the first half, he has already been accepted to Georgetown's law school. He's from the Huntsville, Alabama area, and he says he wants to study civil rights law, maybe even some entertainment law. 50-47. He's another English major at Georgetown. McNeil crosses over, strong to the basket, rejected by Summers. Kubian with the rebound. Shot clock doesn't reset. It's at 15 as Hayward pops out. 9 to shoot for McNeil. High pick and roll. He turns a corner. The teardrop. It won't stay down. Wallace with the rebound. Georgetown can get even closer right now. They're on an 8-0 run. They trail by as many as 11. Wallace crosses over. Fadeaway jump shot, no. Hayward with a rebound. McNeil slashing. And he's fouled. 7:14 to play in the second half. It's heating up here in downtown Milwaukee. Okay, a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, you take a look at the numbers. The Georgetown Hoyas shooting much better here in the second half, but still 7 turnovers, a few too many. And Marquette continues to cash in off those turnovers. But Roy Hibbert has picked it up here in the second half. Beautiful move here off the dribble. And then going over a much smaller defender and Dwight Burke able to get that jump hook to go. And you see his numbers evenly distributed throughout between the first and second half. And rebounding total's not that large, but
what do you think about his rebounding? Are you concerned about he's only averaging 6.4 rebounds?
Not really, because the way Georgetown plays, one, they're a good shooting team, so there aren't a lot of rebounds to be had. Defensive rebounds, sometimes he's out away from the goal, and very rarely do you see 7-footers that are dominant rebounders. Now, that's something that can be improved upon, but based on how they play, the improvement he's made as a player overall, the rebounding, the lack thereof, or the lack of rebounding numbers is not a huge concern as I evaluate who Roy Hibbert is and what he does.
McNeil at the line, 11 points. Second free throw up, and good. 52-47. Marquette applying some token full court pressure. Pat Ewing Jr. walks it over the line with the Rivers in the backcourt. Wallace, Hibbert, Summers. Wallace. Hibbert pops out. Summer fires. Short again. Hibbert got 2 hands on it. There's a rebound. And a whistle and a blocking foul inside. Oh! That's a big call. Tom Green says no. Matthews picks up his second.
Well, Tom Green thought Hibbert was over the back, but any official will tell you over the back is not a foul. It's when you're on the back that you've committed a foul. Let's take another look. I didn't think Roy was on the back there. I thought he was behind the offensive player and extended and didn't commit a foul.
So Summers at the line, misses the free throw. The front end of the 1-and-1. Summers has really struggled offensively. He averages 11.5 points a game at 21 against St. John's. He has 4 today. 52-47, Golden Eagles. McNeil pulls up in the paint. Halfway down, pops out. But Summers has rebounded the ball. That's his 11th.
He sure has.
Steal! James! Straight to the bucket! Bam! (54-47). 20 Georgetown turnover. And they've given up 25 points off those turnovers. Patrick Ewing Jr., big time jump shot. His father used to shoot it that way.
I don't know if he stepped behind that three-point line, though.
54-50. Now James.
Being guarded here by Tyler Crawford.
Pick and roll, McNeil, cut off. Nice defense by Georgetown. 9 to shoot. Matthews stripped and a reach and foul coming up. I'll tell you what, the Big East tournament is going to be something.
It certainly will be. It's always outstanding. But might be a few extra fireworks this year.
Wow. So Matthews at the line. He had a terrific first half. 15 points, has 17 now. And he gets the first one to go. Jericho is back and better than ever. Don't miss an all-new episode Tuesday at 10, 9 Central on CBS. Crawford heads to the bench. Freeman back in for Georgetown, number 15.
The quickness of Marquette and the fact that Georgetown has committed well over 10 fouls could bode well for the Golden Eagles if they start making some foul shots. The team speed they have and the ability to dribble drive should put them in position to draw fouls, but they've got to knock down free throws.
Wallace pops out, guarded by James. Ewing Jr. pump fake, spinning, kicking. Wallace straight away. And nobody's fouled. He's fouled behind the three-point line, and Dominique James can't believe it.
Let's take a look. Good pass here by Ewing Jr. Oh, he got him, clearly. No argument there. You don't have to hit him much on the arm when a guy is shooting. A glancing blow is enough to redirect the shot.
So Jonathan Wallace, an excellent free throw shooter at 80%, shooting 3. Georgetown has a team from the free throw line, 8 of 11. Now a sub comes in. Crawford replaces Freeman. Fitzgerald leaves, and he is replaced by McNeil. Two of 3 for Wallace. 3-point lead for Marquette. Golden Eagles have won 8 of their last 10, including a 5-game winning streak. Acker is checked in. He's number 2, along with James, guarded by Patrick Ewing Jr. now. James kicks it out. Acker, 12 to shoot. Steps back. Now James, 8 to shoot. Acker, the runner. Short. Loose. Loose. And Patrick Ewing Jr.
Well, he's everywhere.
He is ubiquitous this afternoon.
He certainly is. Boy, good effort that time on the glass by Mbakwe, but just was not quite able to finish it. And now Georgetown, very good in close ball games, Gus. And that's Mbakwe's 4th foul, as you see there. Barrow already on the bench for Marquette with 4 fouls.
So Patrick Ewing Jr., a 64% free throw shooter. As he gets the first sub coming in. And this will be Barrow replacing Mbakwe. Barrow with 4 fouls also.
Roy Hibbert has been resting on the bench for a little bit for John Thompson III. He's re-entering now.
Patrick Ewing Jr. making both free throws, 55 to 54. Marquette, the Golden Eagles, have led by as many as 11. Georgetown, quite frankly, they have really struggled. 20 turnovers, giving up 25 points off turnovers. And right now, though, with 4:18 to play, they're down by a penny. And the Hoyas get back into a zone. How do you break this zone down if you're Marquette, Clark?
Player movement, ball movement on the reversal. When the ball goes from one side to the other, you have to attack the seams, Gus. You can't be content to pass it east to west. You've got to look to get inside. And Barrow was in the wrong place there. Turnover, Golden Eagles.
3:58 to play. We've got a 1-point game. And don't forget, coming up next, number 5 Texas in Lubbock taking on Pat Knight's Red Raiders from Texas Tech, or Mississippi State at Florida. 3:58 to play, second half. As you take a look at the game reset, and we have a 1-point game, 55-54. Hoyas have trailed by as many as 11. They've led by as many as 4 with the basketball right now. Summers, Rivers, Wallace, Freeman, Patrick Ewing Jr. And Patrick Ewing Jr. has been awesome in this game. He's come up with a number of big plays inside Summers. They reverse it. Back door, Wallace. Oh, what a pass!
You called it right on the spot. Ewing Jr. again at both ends. He's taking control of this game, Gus.
He certainly is. Hoyas up by a point. Let's see if Marquette can respond. James. McNeil splits the defense and draws a foul.
Patience and poise. Nice pass. Split the defenders there. Beautiful cut by Jonathan Wallace. That's the Hoyas' first lead since it was 6-4 with 16:26 to go in the first half. Probably before many of our viewers joined us.
That's right.
Duke North Carolina State game was winding to a close.
So McNeil makes the first. He has 13 points.
Love the way he attacks the rim and gets after it defensively and on the glass. Plays much bigger than he is.
Great athlete.
Yep, and a terrific heart. He's got a big-time ticker.
Here comes Wallace. Ewing Jr. guarded by Barrow. Wallace steps back for 3. Way off the mark. Summers with the rebound. His 12th.
Well, they got a good look for Wallace.
And look who's taking care of the ball in crunch time. Ewing Jr. to the bucket. And he will go to the line. And that's the 5th foul on Barrow. As Marquette heads back to the sideline to have a conversation with their coach.
Well, they've got to get somebody in for Usman Barrow.
And they will bring in Burke, White Burke. So Usman, since being put back into the starting lineup, this Marquette team has won 5 of 6. And he's putting up very solid numbers, 7.7 rebounds. And it's very interesting when you see something like this happen with a player that gets an opportunity to start, and all of a sudden everything starts working better.
Well, unselfishness plays into that. What do you bring to the floor? A defensive presence, the intangibles, and sometimes 5 guys just play better together when certain people are out there. And now we've got a clock issue here, it appears. Yeah, we do, because the shot clock never moved. Neither clock moved as play was going on.
So the officials want to see it one more time.
And they've got the stopwatch out. Parked at 53 and 34, so I'm counting in my head here. There's the foul, so I'm guessing about 10 seconds perhaps.
So it looks like they're going to take 6 seconds off of the game clock.
Well, I was counting too fast, I guess.
Your microwave.
I'm more of a crock pot guy myself.
John Thompson III, JT3 as he is affectionately called in college circles. Played at Princeton. Tom Green, a Tom Izzo disciple at Michigan State, assistant coach. Now Patrick Ewing Jr. at the line. First one good. And he ties it at 57. Roy Hibbert on the sideline for now. Hibbert with 17 points. Second free throw. Rims off. We remain knotted at 57. Under 3 minutes to play. Here comes Marquette. James, McNeil, Hayward, Burke, and Matthews. James, pick and roll.
Tough matchup here now. Summers on James after the switch.
Matthews, he's been quiet in the second half. McNeil, he's been aggressive, and a whistle and a foul on the floor called against the Hoyas. And that will go against Sapp, his 3rd, and send McNeil to the line.
The Hoyas were switching the crosses on the perimeter there, but when you switch, you have to be really ready to stay in your stance. Any good offensive player want to switch will try to take advantage of that little split indecision. Jarrell McNeil short arms that free throw, and that's been a trouble spot all game long for Marquette, uncharacteristically so. Here today, they've missed double-digit free throws here today. 15 of 26 are the Golden Eagles. And that kind of has kept Georgetown in it, despite the number of turnovers that Georgetown has committed.
Second free throw good for McNeil. He now has 15 points. Marquette will pick up full court. Wallace the inbounder. Will find Rivers. Wallace and Rivers walking up the floor. Wallace guarded by James, playing with that tender ankle and that tender wrist. Who wants it in crunch time? Hibbert back in. 14 to shoot, and they throw it away. "21 turnovers. And they'll get Crawford back into the game.
some more size at the defensive end here on the perimeter for Georgetown with that substitution.
1:46 to go. McNeil again. Block. Burke. Rebound. And a whistle and foul. How about that? Dwight Burke hustling on the offensive glass. Coach doesn't want to put him in. And after today, he's going to earn some more minutes.
Penetration again by McNeil, but there you see Burke chasing down that orange.
But he's a 51% free throw shooter. Foul called on Summers as he picks up his third. Burke. And now Wallace re-enters after a quick blow. Crawford heads out.
Georgetown is 8-3 in games decided 10 or less, but 4-0 when the margin is 5 points or less this season.
59-57. Wallace gets it inbounds. Now he'll bring it up the floor with Rivers. Rivers guarded by Matthews. Georgetown shaky with the ball, folks. They swing it. Ewing Jr. and John Thompson III wants to talk it over again. 1:27 to play, second half. Marquette up by a deuce. All right, let's reset it for you. Georgetown with a timeout left. Marquette with two. Both teams in a double bonus. Georgetown with the arrow. And don't forget, for those of you expecting to see Texas Tech or Florida and Mississippi State, will get you out to those games as soon as this one is done. The Bradley Center, downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 59-57. The hometown team, the Marquette Golden Eagles, with the lead over the 10th-ranked Hoyas from Georgetown. $18,600 on their feet. Rivers in the backcourt draws Matthews. A minute 23 to go. Summers. Now Wallace.
There's the post up right there for Hibbert.
Hibbert, drop step, pivot, up and good. And we're tied at 59.
Well executed there. Ball reversal, probe the defense. Got a good strong post up from Hibbert.
And the Hoyas get back into a zone.
It's been their most effective defense, I think, Gus. They've had trouble containing the dribbler, particularly when they've been man-to-man.
Watch McNeil as the shot clock winds down. He's been terrific penetrating to the basket, and Tom Green calls a timeout. 43.4 to go. The best players on the floor generally step up when you need them most. That's Roy Hibbert.
Here you take a look at the timeouts left. Both teams over the limit. Double bonus time either way. Possession arrow belongs to the Hoyas. Marquette working with a 13-second shot clock here. Penetration has been effective, primarily by McNeil. Georgetown has been pretty good when in the zone defense. Let's see if that's where they stay. It's the 2-3 zone. Got to talk, communicate. Oh, good hands by Ewing Jr. And then be ready to rebound the shot attempt if it's missed.
James, a three. Burke, the rebound, and stick back. Hey, coach, play this kid. Unbelievable.
Just talked about it, Gus. When the shot attempt goes up, nobody dropped inside of Burke, and he just chased that orange down.
Dwight Burke has seen his minutes slashed. He has protested silently to his head coach. He wants to get in the game. Tom Green told me yesterday, I respect the way he's approached this, and he will get minutes. Today, off the bench, he has an opportunity to come up huge. 61-59. He misses the free throw. 30 seconds to go. Here comes Summers. He lost it. Picked up Wallace. And Georgetown calls a timeout. with 23 seconds left. Marquette up 61-59. Back after this.
There are the vital numbers. Georgetown down 2. No timeouts remaining. Both teams in the double bonus possession arrow belongs to the Hoyas. Georgetown has been here plenty of times, Gus. 4-0 in games decided by 5 or less. Had a couple of last-second wins. We've got action coming up, obviously. Texas at Texas Tech, Mississippi State at Florida, once we conclude here.
So if you're Georgetown, 61-59, what do?
I think you look for the best available shot rather quickly, because you want to give yourself a chance for a second shot opportunity, and if not, you want to still be in a position to foul to try to get the ball back.
Shot clock turned on. Game clock at 23. Freeman, the freshman, out of the Macca with the basketball. Almost lost it.
Too much time here.
Hibbert finds Ewing Jr. The finger roll. No! And it's a block. It's a blocking foul with 11.1 to go. So Patrick Ewing Jr. will go to the line to shoot 2 huge free throws.
Boy, nice find by Hibbert. And clearly it seemed as though the defender from Marquette couldn't quite catch his number. Let's see. Post up, cut by Ewing. And that was Burt. Boy, those are always bang, bang. But I think any time in that situation, that defender is not clearly solidly there, that close to the rim, it's a no call or a block.
So Patrick Ewing Jr. at the line. He's 3 of 4 from the stripe today. And they say that pressure either bursts pipes or makes diamonds.
Halfway to a diamond.
61-60.
Now Marquette still plenty of time here. I thought Georgetown was using too much time, but they only took about half of the 23 seconds.
For the tie. Oh, in and out. Matthews with the rebound. And he's fouled.
Still had time. That's why you wanted to get into the offense relatively early, because even now, 2 free throws made, and it's only a 3-point cushion for Marquette. And 8 seconds is a lot of time. That's assuming 2 foul shots go down. That hasn't been the case here for Marquette all game long.
So Matthews at the free throw line.
Georgetown is without timeouts, Gus.
He's 4 of 5 today. First one good. 62-60.
So make or miss, Georgetown has to get it and go. If it's a 3-point cushion, does Marquette foul?
That's a question.
Some coaches want to keep it at 5 seconds or less if a 3-point lead. With a 3-point lead and the opponent having the ball.
I'm sure Sean Miller has an answer for that question. Matthews got it. So here we go. Sap the inbounder. Wallace, 63-60. Here come the Hoyas. Wallace up the sideline. Needs the 3. He's stripped. Oh, he's fouled behind the 3-point line. The senior will shoot 3 with 2.8 to go.
He's got his eyes on the 3-point line the whole time. Boy, and John Cowell right there. Appeared as he came across the arms. A better angle here.
I just realized something. Is today March 1st? It's that time of year, folks. Buckle up. March is here. Wallace. 2.8 seconds remaining. Marquette calls its final timeout. One huge free throw coming up for Wallace. Both teams out of timeouts. Jonathan Wallace. One huge free throw coming up for the senior from Harvest, Alabama, right outside of Huntsville. Wallace for the tie. And he gets it. 2.8 to go. Tied at 63. No timeouts left for either team. Hayward the inbounder. Macklin guards the ball. He's 6'9". Hayward fires it in the front court. Intercepted. And out of bounds with 1.5 to go.
Well, that works in Marquette's favor. No timeout. Stop and play here because Georgetown unable to control possession inbounds. Now, plenty of time to catch one dribble and get a shot up. No timeouts. Tom Crean indicating to his squad.
So James will serve as the inbounder. Deflected. Hayward throws it. And we're heading for overtime. 63-63. Marquette, Georgetown. And we'll go to an extra session. So, partner, we're heading for overtime.
There you see the records. Both teams have played once in overtime. Georgetown came out on top. We indicated that as we came down the stretch in regulation, Georgetown 4-0 this season in games decided by 5 or less, I'm sorry.
So Patrick Ewing Jr. comes onto the floor with Freeman, Rivers, Wallace, and Summers. Oddly enough, Hibbert does not start the overtime period. McNeil, Hayward, Matthews, Burke, James for the Golden Eagles. As Ewing and Burke jump it up. And the toss is controlled by Marquette. Here's James. He has 14 points today.
Georgetown man-to-man, and that's perhaps why you don't see Hibbert on the floor. Better defensive matchups with this smaller lineup for John Thompson III.
Great point, partner.
Now you've got the contained dribble penetration and then jump all over that glass.
And a foul on the baseline called against Freeman. I tell you what, James has some feline quickness with that dribble when it's in his right hand.
Yeah, you're right. Very strong and explosive going that way.
So Neek, as we mentioned, 14 points. He had 5 at halftime.
Free throws continue to be a problem for Marquette. And you see it with James, the wrist injury. You see it more at the foul line, I think in part because he has to stand there and think about it as opposed to just dribbling and going into his shot.
So Marquette on the board first here in overtime. Wallace draws James. Ewing Jr. handling the ball in space. Guarded by Burke. Freeman swings it. 8 to shoot. Ewing Jr. Stripped, taken away, and a foul. No, jump ball is the call. And the possession arrow favors the Hoyas.
I think that's the right call. Ewing turned his back. Only 3 seconds left on the shot clock for Georgetown, but Ewing turned his back, trying to get into some type of shot opportunity. The defenders from Marquette clamped down.
Freeman throws it in bounds. Here's Ewing Jr. takes a three. 64-63. McNeil and James in the backcourt. Hayward, Matthews, Burke. McNeil bounce pass. Inside Matthews, and he will go to the line.
Late in regulation, Dwight Burke gives Marquette the lead, and then the foul there is Jonathan Wallace attempts a three-point field goal, fouled by Dominique James, and he knocked down all 3 free throws, 2. Then the timeout called to ice him and came back and made the 3rd.
So now Hibbert checks in for the first time during the overtime session. Rivers heads to the bench. Rivers picked up his 4th foul. Second one good for Matthews. 66-63. Wallace. Freeman. They're looking to isolate Hibbert. Ball knocked out of bounds by McNeil.
Or you cannot make assumption passes against Marquette. You got to make sure you're zipping that ball and recognizing where they are. They shoot the gaps extremely well.
Freeman can't hold on, out of bounds, and they say it's last touch by the Golden Eagles with 8 to shoot.
The fans here want a foul, but loose ball. Both guys sliding. There's no foul there. Incidental contact. Last touch by Marquette.
Hibbert. 4 to shoot. Wallace forced it up and banks it in. Holy mackerel. Unbelievable. And he ties it at 66.
That's how you can be 4-0 in games decided by 5 or less. Wow. Long way to go, obviously, but that kind of shot making gives you a chance in the close ones.
McNeil. Ewing Jr. skying for the rebound. And that's his 8th. 66 apiece. Overtime. The Bradley Center, downtown Milwaukee. Freeman rises. Rebounded by Patrick Ewing Jr. And the Hoyas get a new shot clock. Inside, Hibbert is there, but a foul prior to the shot.
Sometimes, partner, you just have to be fortunate. And John Wallace was there, fighting the shot clock. Well defended. Then at the opposite end, on the next possession, Wallace able to get a little penetration, and Summers now has a chance to put the Hoyas on top.
And he does. Summers 1 for 2 from the line. He now has 5 points. Freeman checks out, replaced by Rivers.
Gus, have you ever seen in your years of broadcasting a team that threw it away as much as Georgetown
Never.
did in this game and still never seemed to be rattled?
Never. Second
Really a
free throw
unique
good.
quality. I mean, the turnovers, and some of that you have to attribute to Marquette. Their speed, anticipation, the preparation and defending cuts. Give them credit. And yet you have to give Georgetown credit for just maintaining poise. And part of that is the confidence you get from winning close games. And the fact that you get your seniors to come up large when you need it. Jonathan Wallace, Patrick Ewing Jr., Tyler Crawford in his short stints on the floor here today. Roy Hibbert. Those are all seniors, upperclassmen.
Now James. McNeil. Berg back to McNeil. pinned inside, and jump ball the call. So Marquette will hold on with 11 to shoot. 1:30 on the game clock in overtime. This game was tied up at 63 apiece at the end of regulation. Now the shot clock resets to 35 because the ball was wedged between the backboard and the rim. Fitzgerald, long-range shooter in the game now. McNeil spinning, loose. Summers with yet another rebound.
Pretty good look from McNeil there. Had plenty of time on the shot clock. But nonetheless, I think that's a good aggressive shot attempt.
Wallace. To shoot. Patrick Ewing Jr. And it's kicked out of bounds. The shot clock will reset to 15 with 56.1 to go in the game clock here in overtime. Don't forget, coming up next, more college basketball here on CBS. Texas Tech, Mississippi State, Florida. Hibbert driving, spinning. Got it up, no, but a foul.
How about that move there, Gus? He's gone to the right-hand hook shot just about every time from that block. Went to the counter that time, came back to the left, to the right shoulder with the left hand.
So Roy Hibbert 5 of 5 from the line today. And he misses his first.
Kind of pulled the trigger on that one. You got to follow through all the way to the front of that rim.
Second free throw, good.
Now, you don't need a three here, Gus, if you're Marquette. You don't need a three. You need a good, high-quality shot. The sooner, the better.
Time winding down on the Golden Eagles. Somebody has to step up. James, McNeil to the basket. The kick, Burke. 17 to shoot.
Might have to look at the three now.
McNeil, James in the corner. Matthews, short. McNeil the rebound and stick back with 17.4 to go.
Good smart play by McNeil. They got a high-quality look at the three with the extra pass. And now down one. They've got to play D when we come back. Georgetown has one timeout along with a 1-point lead and the ball. Marquette, no timeouts remaining. Georgetown will inbound the ball underneath, well, actually at the baseline. I would say Marquette should give itself maybe 4 or 5 seconds to come up with the turnover. The way they've defended and been able to put pressure on Georgetown and force turnovers, I would not foul immediately.
Sapp, the inbounder. He runs a baseline. Looking, Freeman has it. Back to Sapp. Wallace. Hoyas want to play keep away now.
Now you got to foul.
Marquette has to foul, and they do with 9.1 to go.
That's still plenty of time. If he makes 2 foul shots, you're down 3 with no timeouts remaining. Which in a lot of cases, I think sometimes it's best not to call a timeout when you've got to go the full length of the floor to try to get something to happen for you on the offensive end to get a good shot.
So that will send Wallace to the line, and he is 7 of 8 from the free throw line, including 3 huge free throws at the end of regulation. First one good. 70 to 68. Patrick Ewing Jr. back in the game. Freeman heads to the bench.
Now we're back in the same predicament we were in at the end of regulation, or thought we might be in, with the possible 3-point lead. Under 10 seconds to go.
Kubion is checked back in. He's a 36% three-point shooter for Marquette, number 10. Second free throw, Wallace, and it out. 8 seconds left. Here comes James. Do or die. James hands it off. Oh, they turn it over, and that'll do it. Georgetown somehow will get out of town with a 70-68 win in overtime. Our Chevrolet players of the game, Jonathan Wallace, he finishes with 23 huge free throws and also the banked-in three. It's John Thompson. The third continues to roll. Coming up next, the final game of our triple header. Texas Tech, or Mississippi State, Florida. For Clark Kellogg and our entire team, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Milwaukee.